that is hydration. We have seen dehydration. Dehydration is removal of water. Now we're going to see hydration. By name it's evident that hydration would be addition of water. Let me quickly tell you the mechanism of this. Suppose this is the alkene and I want to add water. What I take acidified water. Some amount of acid as a catalyst dissolve in water. So we represent that as H plus H2O. We don't bother about the conjugate base of that acid. That can be anything. But our job would be done if you take if we have H plus in the system and if we have water. Then what happens is H and OH gets added. So effectively if you see, then H2O is added on the molecule. Now dehydration is the reverse of this. In dehydration we had alcohol like this. We added H plus and delta. H plus again was a catalyst and we got alkene like this. So it will be a reverse of dehydration, not exactly reverse, as I will show you why not exactly reverse, but in some cases it will be exactly reverse, as in this case if this R is methyl. But it is kind of reverse reaction of dehydration, because in dehydration there was removal of this water. In hydration there will be addition of this water on this alkene and we'll get an alcohol. So from alkene we'll get alcohol via hydration. Let's see the mechanism how it happens. First step. Now as I have been telling you, since the very first day we started learning mechanism of any reaction, you have to identify which reagent can initiate the reaction. Then you will go on a correct path to write the mechanism. Now here we have alkene electron rich because of pi bond, and we have water. Water you have lone pair. This is also electron rich. Now this water will never approach this alkene because both are electron rich. Now here we have electron deficient H plus, and that H plus can be the only one that can initiate the reaction and come to alkene. So that H plus will come and ask for electron to this generous alkene, and this generous alkene has lots of free electron in the form of pi bond. It will offer some of the electronic density to this hydrogen. So what exactly would happen is, you have an electronic density in the form of pi bond in alkene, and you have a hydrogen and you have an empty orbital. So when they come close, then automatically some amount of electronic density will come from alkene to hydrogen, because there is electronic high pressure here and there is electronic low pressure here. So that will happen naturally. So when that happens, there is some amount of bond formation between this carbon, which is giving electron via its orbital, and this hydrogen. Now that bond formation releases some energy, because that stabilizes this H plus. That release of energy pulls, starts to break this bond, starts to unshackle this electronic density between the nuclei of these two carbon, and more of electronic density comes. When more of electronic density comes, the hydrogen bond, the bond between carbon and hydrogen becomes more strong. When that bond becomes more strong, more energy is released, and that more energy is further utilized to break this bond further, and that more electronic density comes in and more amount of energy is released, and that process goes on and on and on until this bond is completely made and this bond is completely broken. So it will be a slow, gradual process. Now we show that in one step like this. The bond between carbon and hydrogen I have shown completely. The bond between this carbon and this carbon will be broken completely, and this carbon will have a plus charge. That is step number 1. And of course this will also be the RDS for the reaction, because we are breaking a bond, forming an unstable carbocation. This will be difficult. Now in the next step, what else we have got in the system? We have got H plus, alkene and water. H plus won't come again, plus plus won't come together. Now this carbon requires electron, and now what do we have in the system that has electron? We have got water. This water has oxygen that has 2 pairs of lone pair, and that lone pair can offer again its electronic density to this carbon. Now you have to think in terms of wave, always in organic chemistry, to understand the effect. Suppose this is the electronic wave of oxygen. Again we have an empty orbital of this carbon. So again the same process will start. Some amount of electronic density will start to come into this empty orbital. Some amount of bond will be made that will release energy that will be utilized to unshackle this electronic density between the two nuclei. Again some electronic density will come in, more amount of bond would be formed, more amount of energy would be released, more amount of electronic density would come out. And that process will go on indefinitely until the bond is completed. So what would happen is there will be a complete bond formed between oxygen and carbon. So let me show that bond between oxygen and carbon like this. Oxygen and carbon bond has been completed. Rest of the structure will remain same, but because oxygen has given its electronic density to this carbon, so this oxygen will have a plus charge. Fine. And oxygen don't bear plus charge. Oxygen is second most electronegative. And among the commonly used atom, it is most electronegative because fluorine doesn't appear generally in the reaction. So this oxygen will lose hydrogen as easily as anything. So this H plus will go off just like that. It has to go off in order to get rid of this plus charge on oxygen. So this H plus will go out. Anyone will take that H plus. Either the conjugate base present or any other water molecule will take it and form a hydrogen bond. Whatever would happen, this H plus has to go from oxygen because this oxygen will not have any plus charge. So finally you just have this minus H plus. We just show it like this, minus H plus. This H plus comes out. Anyone in the system having electron deficiency, the conjugate base from this H plus has come out. There will be an acid, right? H plus doesn't comes like H plus. It comes in form of acid that in the system ionizes, forms H plus and A minus. So there is always a conjugate base corresponding to H plus which we generally don't show. So that conjugate base will be present and that will grab this H plus. And finally we have a neutral alcohol. So now on this carbon I am showing OH. There will be hydrogen as well here and H. So that's how H and OH has been added and we have this product. So it basically takes two steps. First is the RDS formation of carbocation. Now because the reaction is occurring through carbocation, there will be two profound things that you have to observe. First, this carbocation will be formed on the internal carbon, on the inner side of the molecule because of greater extent of hyperconjugation available in the internal carbon. And B, there can be rearrangement. And I've been telling you since last few reactions, whenever there will be a carbocation, free carbocation formation, if it is possible, there always be rearrangement if that carbocation can be further stabilized. So it may be happen that this R has a 3-degree carbon and there will be a migration and the plus charge will migrate to another position. So before oxygen can come and attack to this carbocation, rearrangement would have been already occurred and this oxygen will come and attack to a rearranged carbocation at the new position. Fine. So this we have to bear in mind. We will not just attach oxygen OH group to this carbon. We will see the possibility of rearrangement, and if there is rearrangement, they will attach OH to a new rearranged position. If there is no rearrangement, OH will come here. This we have to observe. Whenever there is a free carbocation formation, we have to look for the possibility of rearrangement. Fine. Nevertheless, this is the mechanism of hydration, and that's what it is. You have to know from alkene we can get alcohol, and this is the reagent for that, just H plus and H2O. Now the temperature need not be high. In the reverse reaction for dehydration, we use delta. For the forward reaction, there will be no delta. This will occur at room temperature. Right? So suppose if you carry out dehydration like this, you heat this alcohol, provide some catalytic amount of acid, you get an alkene. And suppose you leave water and H plus and you cool it down, then what would happen at room temperature? Suppose you have H plus as a catalyst for dehydration, and if you leave that H plus is also a catalyst for hydration. So if you leave that water and H plus in the system of this alkene, and when it cools down, it will carry out hydration again. So your effort would be nullified. So whenever alkene is formed, it is boiled and all the water is separated out, so that there cannot be a hydration back giving us alcohol. So this is hydration reaction.